Dark phases do not end the way they begin. They begin with an event. Something breaks, something leaves, something arrives that you were not prepared to receive. The beginning has a clear edge. You can point to it. You know the moment it started. But the ending does not work that way. Dark phases end in texture, in subtle shifts that are easy to dismiss precisely because they are small. In the specific quality of a morning that feels slightly different from the mornings before it. In a thought about the future that arrives without the bracing reflex that used to follow it automatically. If those moments have been appearing, small, unremarkable, easy to wave away as nothing, then something you may have already been quietly sensing is true. The dark phase is ending. The texture is genuinely changing. And what is approaching is different enough from what you have been living through that you will eventually look back at this specific moment and understand, with real clarity, why everything unfolded the way it did. A dark phase is not simply a difficult period. Difficulty is a hard week, a painful month, a season where things are harder than usual. A dark phase is something that settles into the whole quality of a life, into how the light feels in the morning, into the particular weight you carry into every room, into the specific exhaustion of someone who has been managing something significant for so long that it stopped registering as a crisis and became something more like the permanent atmosphere. You adapted to it. That is what humans do when something lasts long enough. They find their footing inside it, develop a kind of competence around navigating it, build their daily life around its presence. The adaptation was necessary. It kept you functioning, but it also made it harder to see that the darkness was never your permanent address. It was always moving through. Always, even in its most suffocating stretches, a season. And seasons turn without exception. This one is turning. The reason you can sense it, even faintly, even with uncertainty, is that something in you has always known the difference between a home and a corridor. You know quietly and with growing confidence that this has been a corridor, and you're almost through it. If this is finding you at a real moment, consider subscribing so these words can keep reaching you when they matter most. That simple act helps this work reach more people who need it. Here is something important to understand about what this phase actually did, because it matters enormously for what comes next. The darkness did not only take from you. That is the part that is hardest to see while you are inside it, and the part that becomes most clear once you have emerged. In the absence of easy comfort, in the stripped-down conditions of a genuinely hard season, certain things were built in you that comfortable seasons almost never produce. You found out what you actually believe when belief is the only thing you have access to. That is not information available in easy times, when faith is cheap and optimism is practically ambient. You found out which people stayed when staying cost something, and that information, however painful it was to gather, is precise and permanent and will shape every relationship you invest in from here. You found out what you are capable of carrying without being destroyed by it, which turned out to be more than you knew before you were asked to carry it. And you found out what you actually want, with the specific, unambiguous clarity that only arrives when the noise of easier times has been stripped away and you are left with only what is genuinely real to you. All of that knowledge is yours now. It does not dissolve when the phase ends. It does not get returned along with the difficulty. It comes with you into everything that follows. The version of you stepping into what comes next is carrying something that the version who entered this phase simply did not possess. A quality of self-knowledge that was purchased through the difficulty and now belongs to you permanently. Let me answer the question about what comes next with honesty rather than with hope alone, because I think you deserve that. What comes next is not a life free of all difficulty. That is not what I want to tell you, because that would not be true and you would sense the untruth in it. Life keeps having difficulty in it at every level. What comes next is life without the specific quality of darkness that has been the dominant note of this phase. The particular weight lifts. The ground beneath you stabilizes. The challenges that arrive do so to someone who knows, from having proven it, that they can move through hard things and remain standing on the other side. That knowing changes everything. There is an enormous difference between navigating difficulty while still not being sure you can handle it, and navigating difficulty from the certainty that you have handled it before and will handle it again. The first is survival. The second is something else entirely. Something steadier, something with more space in it, something that allows you to stay present with what is difficult rather than being consumed by it. What also comes next is the return of genuine appetite for your own life. This is the thing that the dark phase suppresses most quietly and most completely. The simple wanting, the organic interest in what each day might hold, the forward-leaning quality of a person whose life fits them. You may have forgotten what that feels like because it has been absent for long enough to feel like a permanent loss. It is not a permanent loss. It was suppressed, and suppression is temporary in a way that destruction is not. When the phase ends, the appetite returns, tentatively at first, in small moments and unexpected flickers, then with increasing confidence and steadiness, until one day you realize you are genuinely looking forward to something. Not performing looking forward, not telling yourself you should feel hopeful. Actually organically, naturally oriented toward what comes next with something that feels like interest, like desire, like the specific pleasure of being alive inside a life that fits. That return is coming. It is part of what the texture shifting means. There is something worth saying here about the relationship between this dark phase and what is arriving on the other side of it, not as comfort, but as accurate description of what actually happens. The phase did not visit you randomly. What it cleared away, the things that fell apart, the relationships that revealed themselves as insufficient, the versions of your life that could no longer hold their shape, none of that clearing was punishment or evidence of failure. It was preparation. The ground was being cleared of what was not going to serve the life that is actually meant to be yours. That sounds like a generous reframe of painful events, but it is also simply what the longer view of these seasons tends to reveal. The things that felt like losses were often the removal of what would have kept you from receiving what is actually coming. The closed doors protected you from rooms that were not your destination. The endings made the next beginning possible in ways that would not have been available otherwise. The life that has been waiting does not require you to arrive at it fully healed. It does not require you to have processed everything, resolved every remaining wound, reached some condition of completeness before it will receive you. It requires only that you take one step past the corridor. That is all. One genuine step in the direction of what is actually yours. The light on the other side does not demand that you arrive without the residue of what you have been through. It simply asks that you arrive. And if what you have been reading here has been part of how you have been finding your way through, subscribing helps more people find it too. The algorithm responds to that, and the algorithm is how these words reach the next person who needs them. The dark phase is not ending because you finally did something correctly. It is not ending because you have earned enough or suffered enough or demonstrated sufficient endurance. It is ending because it has run its full course. It completed what it came to do. And what it came to do, as much as it cost, as much as it took, was make you into someone the next chapter of your life can actually be built on. You are that someone now. The corridor is ending. The quality of the light is changing. And the life that has been waiting on the other side of all of this has not moved on. It has not given up on your timing, even in the moments when you were not sure you could trust it yourself. It is still there, unchanged, holding the shape of what was always meant to be yours. Walk toward it. It knows you are coming, and it has been patient in the way that only real things can afford to be.